Hello crafters, in tonight's video we're going to be making a stand-up fun fold Christmas card using the O Holy Night suite. We're going to be using the Night Devine Cling Stamp Set and the Night Devine Dies. And if you want to order these, use a bundle code so you can save 10%. And then we're going to be using the Stars at Night Hybrid Embossing Folder. And for the background paper, we'll use the O Holy Night Designer Series paper. Hi, I'm Joan and I'm an independent Stampin' Up demonstrator, and I created this video for Joan Simple Paper Crafts found right here on YouTube. If you're new here, I want to thank you for stopping by, and if you're a returning guest, welcome back. Be sure to subscribe by clicking the subscribe button below. That way you won't miss when I post a video, which is typically once a week. Now give me a few seconds and I'll turn the camera down and we'll get started. Here's that card we're going to be making tonight. We use the Lord is my shepherd for our sentiment. And then we use this die right here. Let me get that out because we're going to need that. And that's from the Night Devine Dies. And then we're going to use this Stars at Night Hybrid Embossing Folder. And it has all these stars on it. And of course, we're only going to be using like a 2-inch strip here. So that's this right here. And the pop-up goes like this, where you just put it up there. And for right now, I use the iridescent gems because the stars here are on back order right now. So you can't order these yet, but hopefully those will be in soon so you can order them. All right, let's go ahead and get started. First we want to do is cut a piece of Night of Navy cardstock. And this is going to be cut at 5.5 by 8.5 inches or 14 centimeters by 21.6 centimeters. But I am not going to do that yet because I'm going to make 2 cards. I'll save one for later. And I'm going to score it on the long side. And that means they want you to have it cut. And then they say this is the long side. So it looks like it's actually the short side. So we want to score it at 3.1/8 inches. And the reason I'm doing that is I can get 2 cards scored all at one time. So that's 3.1/8 inches. And then we're going to score it at 5.3/8 inches out here. Now, our trimmer has 2 scoring blades on there. That one's a scoring blade and a trimmer blade. And then I have another blade on here. That's for glitter paper. I added this one separately. And I wrote glitter on there so that I know to use that when I'm cutting glitter. And as you can see, these blades are in this track here. So I don't have to take them out. They can be moved up out of the way. And there's a spot down at the bottom. So I can move this one all the way out of the way too. And it has a long arm. So if you have to cut something very long, you've got up to 17.25 inches or almost 44 centimeters. We scored this and it put a little dimple in here. And if you look at it, it looks like a valley. So the paper is going flat and then it's indent and then it's flat and then indent. That's where you want to fold it, is on those lines, and you fold it away. So we'd be folding this way. We need to make 2 more score lines, but we want them to have the valley in the right place. So I'm just going to flip my paper over. And now we'll have it at the right orientation. And I'm going to score it at 2 inches. And that's going to be 5.1 centimeters and 6.5 inches. And now I need to open this up here. So 6.5 is right here. There. And now I'm just going to take that cut at the 5.5 mark. I can close this up. So 5.5 inches would be 14 centimeters. And I'm going to just put this one away for later. Okay, next we're going to cut 2 pieces of our Holy Night Designer Series paper. And I cut this using, when I made this one, so I already have it cut at the 5 1/4 inches, which would be 13.3 centimeters. So then I'm going to turn it, and it's turned now, and we're going to cut it at 1 3/4 inches. And we're going to need 2 of those. And 1 3/4 inches is 4.4 centimeters. There's 1, 1 1/4. Oops, let's see, 1 3/4. Got to measure twice, cut once. Okay, so we've got those already. And I'm going to save this for that other card. And then we're going to take our basic white, and we need to cut it at 5 3/8. So this has already been cut at 5 3/8 because I made that other card. And so I'm going to turn it and cut it at 1 7/8. So right there's 1 7/8, and that's going to be 4.8 centimeters. And I'm going to cut 2 of these. And that 5 3/8 is 13.7 centimeters for those of you that are using the centimeters. And I'll hang on to this for the other card as well. So I am going to fold and burnish this, our base card. So we got those fold marks here. This is a valley, so I'm going to fold it away. And I like to burnish it on both sides to get a nice crisp edge. And we'll fold the other side as well. And I probably should have done the inner side first, so that'd have been a little bit easier. And I could have worked on outward, but that's okay. And then we got this one on the valley again. Okay, so here's our card base, and we want it like this with that center propped up in the front. And then these are our wings, our left and our right wing. So what we need to do is we're going to use our multi-purpose glue here, and we're going to glue it down. Let me get our rubber mat here. This is our silicone mat, not rubber mat. And we're going to glue these onto the white cardstock. And I'm just going to get one off to the side. And we use a silicone mat so that it doesn't dirty up our work surfaces if we happen to get glue on the outside of the card. The liquid glue and the Seal and Seal Plus will not stick to this. You can just peel it off. You have to let the liquid glue dry, but then you can just peel it off. And the same thing with the tear and tape. It just peels off, so your work surface is still clean. And I'm going to center this on here, leaving 1/16 of an inch for a border on all 4 sides. And I'm going to use my bone folder just to get any glue bubbles out. And I'll do the same thing with the other one. I'm so excited to be working on this card. I love the nativity piece. I think it is just a great set. And I will probably be making a couple other cards down the road here before Christmas. So watch for my other cards. And let's see, let's make sure we got that. I'm just going to kind of look and see that those are even. And they are. So what we need to do next is put them on our cardstock. And so we're going to put it on here. I like this glue bottle. It has a needle nose tip to it. Makes it a lot easier to get glue onto the cardstock because I have a hard time squeezing this bottle. So this one works a little better for squeezing, but then it has that needle nose tip that allows you to do the small, delicate pieces from die cuts. So it really is an easier thing to use this glue bottle. And I found this on Amazon. All right. Okay, that's done. Next we want to emboss our piece of white. We didn't cut our piece of white, did we? Oh, we've got to make another piece of white cut. Sorry, bring this back in. We got 2 more pieces of white we have to cut out of here. One for the sentiment on the back of the card and one for on the front. So we will put a piece of white here so that if you want to write anything, you can write it on that portion. But then this part needs to be embossed. So we need it to be 2 1/8 by 5 3/8. Now I need to find the 5 3/8. That's not it. So this must be the 5 3/8. So let's go ahead. 5 3/8 would be 13.7 centimeters, and that's this length from here to here. Now I need to cut a 2 1/8 or 5.4 centimeters. So 2 1/8, and I'm going to need 2 of those. A little piece left there. So I'm going to bring up my cut and emboss machine to die cut it, and I'm going to have to use the large one, actually not to die cut it, to do the embossing, because the embossing folder is so large that it won't fit in this mini one. So I'm going to bring this out here. Let me get my plates. So the plate says that using the 3D embossing folder, you want the base 1, the embossing folder, and then base 4. So this is 1 and this is 4. So let's get this in here. And here's our piece. And we're going to put it along this way because I want to get as many of these elements right here that are right about here is where I set it up the last time. And my tape is in the way, so I can't confirm that I got it in the right spot, but it looks about right. And then we're just going to crank this out. There we go. Okay, and I'll just take this out of here. So we won't need this folder anymore. Here's our piece here, and we're going to glue that down. I'm going to use my liquid glue again. You may want to use your tear and tape because there's a lot of valleys, if I may use that term again. But I'm just going to put a lot of glue on the middle part to just make sure that it stays on there. And then we're going to put it on here, leaving 1/16 of an inch for a border on all 4 sides. And I'm using the liquid glue so that I actually have the wiggle room. I often set it down in the wrong spot, and then I want to lift it off and reposition it. I slid it up a little too high. That looks about right there. And I'm going to flip it over and use my bone folder so that I'm not flattening those 3D images. Okay, then we can take this piece here and put glue on it and insert it on the back side of the card. So you saw me flip it over. Sometimes when you cut, it leaves a little ridge, and I want that to be face downward, and it looks like this is the way I want. I want the glue on this side right here. Flipped it so many times I couldn't really tell anymore. Had to look again. The other thing you can do is you can take your bone folder and flatten that edge out. Sometimes you've got an image already stamped onto that piece, and then you die cut it, and you don't want to have to throw it away and redo it. What you can do is take your bone folder like this and just flatten that edge out. So next we're going to take our Night of Navy cardstock, that 3 1/4 inch by 3 1/4 inch. And so I've already cut this 3 1/4 inches, and I cut a whole long strip of it. Of course, I used it some. So I just need to make another 3 1/4 inch cut, and that's going to be 8.3 centimeters. And I want to make sure I got them on the right side. Yep, this way. And we'll put that for later. Then the next piece we need is our designer series paper that is cut at 3 1/4 inches by 2 1/2 inches. So I've already got this strip of 2 1/2 where I used on that first card. So I just need to make a cut at 3 1/4 inches. So the 2 1/2 inches is 6.4 centimeters. So that's this cut right here, 6.4 centimeters. And then the 3 1/4 inches is going to be the 8.3 centimeters. And as you noticed, these stars are all over the place. So you should be able to find a star where you want to put the rhinestone in easily. So I'm going to just put that back for the other card. And what I did here is I cut this short just to save on the designer series paper and to not have stars under their legs. So it'll be a dark base there. So we're going to glue these two pieces together. And we're going to match the corners at the top and leave the bottom where the blue is. So, of course, there's not a top or a bottom on this right now because it's stars and they all look the same. I mean, the orientation is pretty much the same, so it doesn't really matter that much. But so we're going to have this base down here. And then I'm going to take my die cut and we're going to use our largest stylish shaped dies, this largest circle, and we're going to use this as well in a few minutes, the largest banner die. And we're going to bring our mini cut and emboss machine out now. That's a lot easier to handle up here. And this is the base plate here, the one, and we need to put two plates down. So here's one of the 2 plates. Then we're going to put our dies down, our paper and our dies. And we're going to just slip this up here. And then I'm going to put this down here. And I'm going to tape this in place. So it doesn't need a whole lot of tape, but I just don't want it to slip off of here. So let's just do this like this. And we'll use this piece here. And I'll do that. We're going to tape that down too. So we've got our banner and our nativity set all on here, and we're cutting it at the same time. And when you're cutting it, you want to put your pieces on going this way so that you're not putting a second piece right next to it. So if I had turned the nativity so it was this way, I could have put the banner here. That would mess up the mechanism in the rollers so that you wouldn't get a nice cut. So we're going to just leave it like this, and we're going to go ahead and die cut. We can pull those out. Got our banner here. So we're going to take your pick tool, and I'm going to pop out this card, and let me just pull this so that the pick portion is here. So we'll push this down. And we're going to pop out these little pieces here. They pop out pretty easily. One here. And this popped out already. And that popped out. And then these popped out. We are good. And I'm going to pick that paper up so it doesn't get glued down to my silicone mat. And what we do here is we want to glue this down here like this. We want that to be about right here. I'm going to go just a little bit lower. There, that looks a little bit better. This is where our cutting point is right here. You really have to look hard for it. This will be our one where we want to put the gem on. Let's see if we can't get the glue on here. Now this is where this really comes handy, because it doesn't take a whole lot of glue. Now we don't want it to be in this corner here, so we'll leave that go. And I'm just putting little dots. And then we're going to put it down along here. And we're going to ignore this corner too. And we want to put little dots up here. I don't know if you can see the little dots. I'm just doing little dots like that. Okay. So let's get it. We were covering up this star right here with the crib. And then the rest falls right into place. Very nice. I really like this. So then we want to put that on with dimensionals. And I am going to use my mini black dimensionals. I don't have my large black dimensionals. I must be out of them. So I am just going to use this. and we need to have them run right about here. So I'm going to flip this over. So I'm going to run them right about here and right about here. And we're going to do one here and here. And let's just start clipping these. I can maybe do 2 wide. So we'll do one up here, one down here. And the reason we don't want to go all the way to the edge of the circle is because it's going to be loose. We want to leave this part loose so that you can lift the card up and have it pop up right. So I'm going to put one in the middle too. Let's do this one right here. In the middle there. And let's take one of these. Okay. And we'll just pop those off from here using the take your pick portion. And that keeps them all wrangled together. Of course, it just popped off there. And then you can throw them away and not have them be all over your office or your living room or wherever you are crafting. Okay, so I'm going to lay this flat to get it on there because I want to make sure that I'm laying it somewhat even. And I'm just eyeballing it, trying to get the same amount hanging over on each side, right about there. There. One more thing we need to do is our sentiment in here. Now I could take this and run it through our embossing folder, but you'd want to stamp it first before you do that. But I liked that I didn't have any embossing on it, and I turned it at an angle to give it some more interest. So let's just do that again. And we're going to use our Night of Navy for the ink. And try not to get it all over me. Okay, I got a little bit there on the edge. I'm going to rub that off from there. I don't want it to go onto the cardstock. And then I'm going to try and get this even on here, so my head's going to probably pop in the picture. That looks about right. There. And I'm going to close this up because we are done with this already. And we're going to take dimensionals again on this side. And let's see. We need to figure out where they're going to go. I'm going to flip it like this. So right about here and here. Here and here. I think I can put a piece. Let's do it this way instead. And I won't need to put any in the middle because this is bring it up really easily. And I'm just going to pull this off. And I'm just going to bring that same angle and right about there. That looks about right. And I'm just checking to make sure that I don't have any dimensionals hanging out over the edge here and none over there. So this is our back of the card. So you can sign it there. And then this is our front. So I am just going to put a block down while I clean up. Oh, I need to clean this. Let me get my Stampin' scrub out. And I'm going to get a piece of paper to stamp off on. That keeps your Stampin' scrub a lot cleaner. Otherwise, all that ink would have went right into my Stampin' scrub. And then I'd have to wash it more often. And we need to spray this. So we're going to spray this with our Stampin' Mist. And here is a watermark up here. So that tells me that this is the side I want to have the water on. And this is where I'm going to dry it on that side because there's a sunshine there. And I'm just going to give it a quick little squirt here. And then we just scrub it. And then we clean it there. And it's done. And we're not quite done with our card yet because I forgot about the star. And this one we used the iridescent rhinestone basic jewels. I used one of these small ones and I put it right here. And here I'm going to use one of these. And that's going to be the edged back star trinkets. And I'm just going to use one of these tiny ones down here. We'll open this up so it's flat so I can get it on there. There. And we got it right on there. I think that looks great. So now you can see how they look between the two. Kind of liking the rhinestone better than the star. So our card is done. I hope you like this project as much as I did. Why don't you give it a try? Now, if you've enjoyed today's video, would you do me 2 favors? Click the thumbs up emoji, which means you like it, and would you share it on social media with your crafting friends and pin it to Pinterest? These actions will help me to keep sharing my ideas with other crafters for free, and I'd really appreciate that. Be sure to hit the subscribe button below so you won't miss any future videos. If you have any questions, be sure to contact me. I'm here to help in any way that I can, and if you don't have a Stampin' Up! Demonstrator, I'd love to be your demonstrator. Just reach out to me. If you'd like to place a Stampin' Up! Order or like a catalog, hop over to my website where you'll find the Shop Now button. To shop with me, you'll need to go to joanheberlein.stampinup.net. Mark your calendars. I'll be back next Sunday, November 19th at 7 p.m. Central Time, and we'll be doing a project using some of the new Designer Series paper. I hope you'll be here to join me. Thanks so much for being here with me tonight. I look forward to next time. Bye for now, and don't forget to subscribe.